Hello everyone! Hey, welcome to another episode of The Front. As always, you can check out the website at leadtheteam.net for free sales training, for motivational content, and for leadership tips. And if you would, cruise on over to leadtheteam.tv and subscribe to the YouTube channel there. I do new episodes of The Front every Wednesday and Sunday, and I would love to have you participate and join me. So today, I'm going to be talking about teaching and coaching right now on The Front.
Thanks for tuning in to Lead the Teams, The Front.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me today. My name is Mike Phillips and I will be your host. This is The Front, and today the theme is teaching and coaching. Part of the reason I wanted to talk about this today, a couple things. One, I am doing this episode live, so if you're joining me live, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me live. If you're joining later, that's great also. Either way, please do me a favor and give the episode a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media, share it in your groups, and please, let's educate and help get the word out. So today I am talking about teaching and coaching. Some people are trainers. Those are the coaches in our lives. Some people are teachers, and I believe coaching and teaching, while they have similarities, they have differences as well. And it's just something I've been thinking about recently because I have viewed myself as an educator. I've continued teaching, and even in our store with salespeople, I see myself as an educator and educating them. And I've had people bring up to me recently, they say, well, Mike, I see you a little bit more as a coach. I see you as somebody that's coaching. And I was like, well, really, what are the differences in the two, the differences between teaching and coaching? And so each of these skill sets certainly is helping someone to learn a particular skill. It's helping to improve on maybe a specific skill set, right? It's bestowing a certain piece of knowledge onto somebody else. And certainly both of those are gifts that are given to the student, right? But one of the things that I see is teaching is providing information from the teacher to the student. Teaching is more of a one-way interaction, right? It's teaching to the masses. You can teach to a lot of people. And like I said, so for me, I viewed myself as a teacher because I make videos like this. I teach in like a sales training forum, and it's one-way communication from knowledge that I have out to the masses. And basically then what those people do with the education that you provide, it's up to them, right? When I'm teaching something, when I'm teaching a skill, it's up to the individual how they use that skill, how they follow through, what they decide to do. And so, like I said, for example, in a video or on a blog post, you can reach massive amounts of people when it comes to teaching skills. Coaching, on the other hand, is more of a give and take. Coaching, in my opinion, is about feedback, right? It's information from the coach to the student. It's providing those skill sets, and then it's feedback from the student back to the coach on how they learned it, how they can apply it, what they can do. And sometimes in the moment, if it's coaching, the plays change. Right? So you're giving them a particular piece of information, and all of a sudden the player calls back to the coach and says, hey coach, this isn't going to work. We have to do something else. We've got to adjust. We've got to move on the fly. We have to do something different because that player is in the game. So it's that continued back and forth piece of feedback in the education that I think is where coaching comes into play. So in these examples, for instance, it's, one of the biggest differences is that teaching is about the teacher teaching and coaching is about the student. Does that make sense? And so, as I mentioned before, you can have a teacher that's reaching massive amounts of people. You can have somebody teaching a skill or a set of skills, and they're reaching 10,000 people in an audience. They're reaching 10,000 people with views on like a Facebook video or a YouTube video such as this, or they're reaching thousands of people in an online forum with a blog post. And at the same time, so that's teaching. It would be really difficult to apply that same level of one-on-one feedback that coaching requires to those tens of thousands or sometimes millions of people, because you have to get down and get with them right here to be able to coach somebody effectively. And when it comes to business, I think, in my opinion, you need both of these skill sets. You need to be a good teacher and you need to be a good coach. And there's a time and a place for each, right? Because I understand, as I'm having this conversation this afternoon, I'm not saying that one of these skills outweighs the others. I'm not saying, hey, listen, you should be a teacher and be able to educate thousands of people. I'm also not saying, hey, you should be a coach and be able to educate these 10. That's just one of the differences that I'm viewing. So in business, you do need both of these skill sets. And it's important to acknowledge that there's a difference in teaching business and coaching business. For business management, for sales, for whatever different skill sets that you're working with in business, there's a difference between somebody teaching you the skills and someone coaching you through it and coming back and having checkpoints and touch points and feedback in that one-on-one system. Teaching is the educational side. It's one of those things where teaching is a form of education. It's more academic. It's knowledge-based. It's, checkpoints. Okay, yep, got this. And you can check those things off of your list. Coaching, to me, is a more practical and skill-based, kind of a job-focused, person-focused setup. And so it's the practical side. And one of the things for me where I sit in business, I realized when I've had those people say to me, they say, Mike, I see you as more of a coach, because even with doing either live videos like this or recorded videos for myself, and I'm not trying to get that ego trip at all, but just for myself, one of the things that I see is I'm coming back and I'm having those checkpoints. I'm coming back and I'm offering more additional information, and sometimes it's building on top of the previous week's topics, and sometimes it's something brand new like this. I'm having a frank conversation and talking about, look, what is the difference between teaching and coaching? Because there is one. And so I as I'm talking about this today, it's like, okay, well, so Mike, what's the point? Do I need to go be a teacher? Do I need to go be a coach? Yes, you need to be both. You need to be a good teacher and be able to articulate your knowledge to the masses at certain points in your career and in your life. And then there are also times that it is extremely important to be a really good business coach and get in one-on-one with somebody and be able to look them in the eye and coach them along and get feedback back and forth from you to them and then back to you again and such. The people that, in my opinion, are the best leaders are the one, and think about this for a second, because I'm kind of coming to the tail end of this conversation. If you think about your favorite teacher in school right now, if you that is watching this right now, if you said, man, who was your favorite teacher, either in grade school, middle school, high school? And I will bet you that teacher that you picked, that you say, man, I really liked Mr. or Mrs. blank, right? Part of the reason you probably really connected with that person and they became that favorite teacher, it's one thing to be an educator and gain that knowledge, but I will bet you it's because they connected with you one-on-one on some level. So you do need the ability to speak to the masses and educate the masses, but also you have to be able to connect one-on-one with some people. It doesn't mean you're going to connect one-on-one with every single person you come in contact with, and that's okay. So that's the message today on the front. I'm talking about the differences and the similarities also in teaching and coaching. So let me ask you, what do you see are some of the differences or similarities in teaching and coaching? I would really appreciate if you would share that in the comments down below or in the sidebar. What do you see as some of the differences? What do you see as some of the similarities? And what are things that you think people could improve on, either one, to be a better teacher and educator, or two, what could people improve on? What could they work on to be a stronger coach in somebody's life? So that's the whole message today on the front. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me. Again, if you join me live, thanks so much. If you're joining later, that's fantastic. Please do me a favor. One way that is fantastic to get the word out is to share the video. So click the little button either down there or up there or over there on the side, wherever the button is on whatever social platform you're watching, share the video. So until we speak next, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.